Hey everyone, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's Pick a Card, we are going to be doing November month ahead predictions. So we only have 3 groups today for this pile instead of 4, but it's going to be a very similar format to the October month predictions, where we have go week by week throughout the month. So we're going to be doing that. And just a pretty straightforward month prediction for November. I'm a little late on getting these out there, but hopefully I can get them to you before November starts, maybe like on Halloween night or something like that. All right, well, without further ado, let's get into the crystals. We have our first group, which is blue kyanite. Then we have our second group, which is this moonstone. Then we have our third group, which is this amethyst cluster. So take all the time you need to pick your pile, or your crystal, should say your crystal. And without further ado, we will get into the reading. You can pause the video here if you need to, but we're going to get into the reading starting with group number 1 with the blue kyanite. Hey pile 1, this is if you picked the blue kyanite blade. I guess you could call that a blade. All right, so I pre-drew the cards for this reading. So we basically have week 1 right here with this tea leaf card and these tarot cards, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So we're just gonna get right into the reading and see what happens. Let's see. So for your tea leaf oracles, we have money path. A path with money is waiting for you to find it. Table, hard work ahead. And then we have nest, an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. And horseshoe, good luck. So let's see what your tarot cards say. So for week 1, we have the moon reverse and 9 of cups. Week 2, we have 4 of pentacles and 3 of wands. Week 3, we have 3 of swords and page of wands. And week 4, we have Knight of Cups and 7 of Wands in reverse. A few reverse cards in the Shadowscape cards. Okay, let's get into your reading. It's pretty straightforward, but let's get into it. Okay, so week 1 right here, in week 1, we have a money path. A path of money is waiting for you to find it. And we also have the 9 of Cups and the Moon card in reverse. Let me show you guys those. The cool thing about these 2 cards is that with the 9 of Cups, we have the guy who's pretty much satisfied. And he has the cups in the background, and he's kind of like content. Like he's reached a point in his life where he can like feel accomplished of certain things in his life. So there's kind of like a sense of a milestone or an achievement in the very beginning of November that you've kind of made this space for yourself, or this sense for yourself. With the moon card in reverse, this is all about like illusions being kind of like revealed. You can think of this as kind of like with the moon upright. This is like a crescent moon like that, and it's kind of like a bowl. This woman also has like a mask in one hand and a glass of wine in the other. So you can think of the types of things that cause illusions, people being fake, people, being under the influence of certain things, acting different ways than they normally would. And you also have mushrooms on the bottom of this card too. And like mushrooms, like psychedelic mushrooms, are like a hallucinogen. So it's kind of like you're coming out of this fog of like almost like I don't even want to say it's a delusional state, but it's like you kind of, how do I put this? It's like you were Alice and you went down the rabbit hole and you've kind of came back out and you like came back to the surface and you're like, finally, some like sanity, some fresh air, some like realism. You're coming away from certain like psychic influences. And the moon is interesting because it's all about illusion and like in a way deception. Sometimes it can represent anxiety as well, but it's also this idea that like what you went through psychically was kind of a rough ride. It was kind of like a wild ride, and it's kind of like you had to deal with all these things that may or may not have been real, but it actually led you to a good place. And now you're kind of coming out into this more grounded energy, what we see here with the Four of Pentacles in week 2. But in week 1, you're kind of like emerging from this journey that you've been on, and this kind of like wild ride that you've kind of been going on in at least in October. And with the Nine of Cups, we see you coming out with like a fulfillment, like a sense of purpose, or a sense of like feeling gratitude about the past and about this journey that you went on. And definitely with the Path of Money is waiting for you to find it. It's interesting. It's almost as if you left kind of this one kind of like pursuing lots of spiritual pursuits, or kind of like getting really deep into yourself as far as like going through almost like a spiritual journey that kind of ended with kind of like a new path for like money, I guess is the best way to put it. Like now it's almost like the universe is turning the tides and saying like, yeah, you've been kind of going through the spiritual side of yourself, or the spiritual journey, and you've kind of gone and seen wild different things in that, but now it's time to come back out into a more practical realm. And we see this with the Nine of Cups, as you're grateful, you're very thankful for all the gifts and abilities and everything that you learned through the spiritual journey, but it's like the confusing parts of that journey, the things that were like confusing or daunting, or didn't really sit right, or like were hard to get around, or you just couldn't see through them, those are going to be clearing away. So a little bit of trying to put this part of yourself on the back burner, on the side, and a little more focused on, there's kind of some wealth coming towards you. With a Path with Money is waiting for you to find it. There is kind of like this opportunity coming into play with like a career kind of opportunity, or a money kind of opportunity. And with Nine of Cups, it shows that you're like wrapping up this part of your life, and you feel fulfilled at everything you've learned, and you're actually going to be able to use that in the weeks ahead, for the month of November, as far as like what it's going to lead to in the rest of November. And it's interesting, if you have not been on this little spiritual escapade yet, and you pick this pile, I can see that coming for you, maybe like in the very beginning of November, and then wrapping up at the end of the week, and kind of having this gratitude for the week being over and that kind of thing. If not, this could indicate like basically the time of late October. And it kind of makes sense with like Halloween and Samhain and stuff. I hope I'm pronouncing Samhain right, because I know I've read that word, but I don't know really how to pronounce it. Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of like a very spiritual time. You know, you have like the portal to the spirits, are open, and so you're experiencing that and stuff. So basically you're like grateful that this time is like coming to a close. It's kind of like a refreshed time. You feel like you were grateful for it, and at the same time it's like a lot of the confusing aspects have melted away. So you're kind of feeling pretty good about yourself in the first week of November. Now, week 2 of November is interesting, because I see here that you're going to be kind of going on a solo journey, but it's going to be kind of expanding your horizons. You're going to be working on a lot of like projects, basically. And with hard work ahead, these projects are going to lead to kind of like a substantial amount of work that you're going to have to accomplish. But I see that you're very passionate about it, and you're focused on doing it. The Three of Wands upright just indicates that this is kind of like a break, or a time where you can like, usually I associate planning with the Two of Wands, but I'm definitely seeing that like right here, this is a time of collecting, expanding, accumulating, especially with the Four of Pentacles in conjunction with the Three of Wands. The Four of Pentacles basically just means that you're like accumulating your resources, accumulating wealth, accumulating the things that you need to make these plans come to fruition. So there's a little bit of a collection mindset, and a little bit of opening and expanding your mind to the possibilities of what the future could entail. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm seeing right here with this woman, there is, she has like a little, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little fox or a pet right by her. And it's almost like these markers are like, I see them as like guideposts, where they're kind of like pointing in different directions. And she's kind of looking from this high, very high vantage point. I definitely see that like working with the animal there, working with an animal of yours, if you have a pet, or you have a, if you get to experience the pleasures of working with an animal companion, that's going to be really beneficial in week 4, especially with de-stressing and stuff, because I definitely see you expanding and working hard and collecting a lot of resources during this time, and also looking for different directions to go, looking at different paths that you could take forward. yeah, with this river, I'm definitely seeing something like opportunities flowing to you. With this path is waiting for money to find out. I'm seeing these opportunities kind of flowing to you, kind of presenting themselves as like these things that you could choose or you could take or you could find. And it's almost like you're not totally engaged with any of them because you're such at a high vantage point that you're kind of surveying the land and you're kind of not totally engaged with the opportunities, but you're aware of them and you know where these kind of opportunities could lead, or you're figuring out where those opportunities can lead. All the while, you're simultaneously collecting and saving your resources. This could include saving money, not spending as much, really keeping some of your cash that you are building up to yourself, knowing that you're going to need to use it pretty soon. And so it's kind of like you're mentally preparing in both realms, in the like physical, in the tangible with the money and stuff, and preparing like how that you're going to utilize that money. It's interesting. I even see with the money path, a path with money is waiting for you to find it, and this Four of Pentacles. I definitely see you kind of going on a path where you're going to be running into getting a lot of money, but at the same time, you're going to be saving a lot of that money. So this is a great time to accumulate. I think you're going to naturally feel a proclivity to accumulate in week 2, and even maybe a little bit in week 1. But yeah, with this hard work ahead, it makes sense that you're kind of saving to kind of like create that success and that future with the hard work that's coming up. Now, week 3 is kind of interesting here. With Page of Wands reversed always represents kind of like someone to me with like more of a critical nature. And that could be someone who kind of just has more of like a assessing type attitude towards things. And sometimes that can actually rub people the wrong way. And it especially can rub you the wrong way if you feel like you're kind of under constant scrutiny by this person and feel like this person's kind of like constantly, how do I put this? Like evaluating your life. This is basically someone who's very like judgmental, I guess is the best way to put it. And they're kind of like evaluating your life for you. It's like you kind of are the driver in your life, right? You know, you want to be the one that evaluates your own life and make decisions from there. But this person kind of takes a more intrusive attitude and kind of jumps in and kind of tries to evaluate things for you. And I can see it's getting a little overwhelming, and it's actually bringing up some insecurities with the Three of Swords. Now, this is eventually going to become a positive thing, because I see with the Three of Swords upright, you do work through some of these insecurities, even though they bring up some other things in your past that you haven't dealt with necessarily. These things are going to be worked through in a really loving and caring way. With Nest, an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. This is going to be really important during this time to spend some time with your family and feel kind of like that security with them. I see your family as really being someone that's going to help you, people that are going to help you during this time and be that really loving and supportive community for you in week 3. Especially if you're too bogged down by this healing. Three of Swords is kind of my card of like, you know, healing the wounds of the past, you know. And with Page of Wands, this person who's very analytical or kind of like evaluating your life for you, evaluating your place in life and trying to tell you like where you should and shouldn't be and where you should be going and stuff like that, or what your status is compared to other people and stuff like that. You really don't need that kind of energy, and I'm not condoning it in any way, shape, or form. It's just that it does lead to some positive self-evaluation for you in the healing department. And I can see that it's going to strengthen the emotional component with your family. For some of you, in rare cases, this could actually be a member of your family, and you might have this healing cycle where you get some energy from this person of their evaluation or their judgment of you, you heal, and then you bring that healing back to your family. There's kind of like an alchemical process going on here. And it's interesting that we kind of have this kind of money path in week 1, and then we have hard work ahead with the Four of Pentacles in week 2. So it's very practical focused in the first 2 weeks. And then we kind of take a side break in week 3 with the family matters. It's interesting. In America, this is where we have Thanksgiving and stuff. And usually people spend a lot of time with their family during then. So it might be one of those things where you get to spend time with your family, and you might work through a lot of issues, like just through the comfort of like experiencing a group kind of connected family situation. Now, week 4 is interesting because we also have another person coming in with the Knight of Cups, and this is going to be a very beautiful person, but they also could be a person that's very like, lets you see the beauty in the world. I'm definitely seeing that here with the Knight of Cups and Horseshoe. With Horseshoe, we have good luck, which is just saying that week 4 is going to be a very prosperous time. And with these flowers on the Horseshoe card, we have this pink, I don't know what these flowers are, but they're really reminding me of beauty. And the Knight of Cups is always by a river. And I literally just watched videos of Switzerland, and there's like these beautiful towns with like flowers and rivers flowing through them and stuff. And I just was really amazed by the beauty. So I'm getting that for this week 4 is that you're going to experience a time of beauty or being seen, showing yourself and seeing the beauty in the world. And this person coming in is going to help you see that, this Knight of Cups person. This could also very well be a romantic interest, but I'm definitely saying this person is going to help you let your walls down with the 7 of Wands. Like with this, if you look at these 2 animals on the upright, you know, they're battling, and you have this fox protecting his family and then this badger kind of coming in to take over. There's a lot of resistance here, and I'm just seeing this as the 7 of Wands is kind of like the card of resistance in this indication. That there's going to be a lot of resistance being dropped as far as how you view the world and how you see things in the world. And that's really going to bring in a lot of good luck. Like now would be the time to like invest in a project or bring something to fruition or work on something that you're passionate about that you want a favorable result on. You're going to have a lot of good luck in week 4, especially with this Knight of Cups person coming in and unlocking that beauty and helping you see the beauty in things. Knight of Cups, I also consider someone who's delivering a message or bringing a message to someone else from a faraway land. So this person might have a specific spiritual message for you or something that they're trying to tell you, and that kind of unlocks your mind to see this beauty and experience this good luck. So you're kind of falling into a kind of nice, easy kind of, like with the river and the flowers and stuff, I see you kind of floating along in week 4 and kind of getting that lucky time. It's interesting because hard work ahead over here in week 2. I don't see the hard work in weeks 3 and 4. I definitely see the hard work ahead being maybe even into December or something like that. And even just in this week, the hard work ahead was making me think of hard work this week and kind of like saving and building that kind of repertoire of like money and ideas that you're going to focus on in the future. Another thing that might be interesting here, if this person, this Page of Wands person is a member of your family, focus on the loving family connection, not just the fact that this person's critical to you. Like think of the family as a whole unit. If there's other members of your family or something, think of how those members influence the rest of you and kind of like create a loving vibe through like the whole, like kind of like an equal, I guess, is equanimity the word? Kind of an equal vibe amongst all members for like kind of creating love and connection and not just focus on one person. Even though this person might come at you a little bit with some evaluations, negative evaluations of your life and your circumstances, I see that you really work through them with the 3 of Swords. It does hurt. I'm not going to lie. It's painful to experience this kind of thing. I've experienced it before, you know, someone kind of having a judgment on where you are at in life and stuff like that, or the nature of your character. Sometimes that can come into question. But, yeah, with this situation with the 3 of Swords, I'm definitely seeing that you do get over it, you do heal, and especially in week 4, you're definitely rewarded for this work that you're doing in week 3 with like good luck and kind of like a really good time with this special person. 9 of Cups could indicate like a slightly younger person or someone that is actually on your level or on your age that kind of makes you feel like a teenager again, makes you see the world as how you were seeing it when you were kind of like anywhere from like 16 to 22 or something like that. Those are just arbitrary ages, but like around that time, basically. Yeah, very cool reading. I'd be interested to see if you guys have what you went through in the previous before this month with the Moon card reversed, all that kind of crazy spiritual, all that stuff. This is a very exciting time that's like also very confusing time. Like maybe this could also represent like what's it called? The dark night of the soul. I think that's what it's called, where you have a kind of like a spiritual awakening. But it's interesting. You come out this other end with like a more practical mindset, a more grounded mindset. Interesting. Overall, a very good month ahead for you guys. A few little bumps, but nothing that you guys can't handle. Like I said, well, I don't know if I've said this before, but the universe doesn't really throw things your way that you can't handle. And if it does, it's because you're not listening. But yeah, I definitely see a good week ahead for you guys, and I definitely see some positivity, especially in the end of the month. Like that's a really like lovely time with this person that you're going to spend. Now this could be a friend. It also could be a romantic interest. It could be any of those things. Anyway, so yeah, if you enjoyed that reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like that reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, that was moving on to the next group, group 2 with the Moonstone. Hey, group 2, this is if you picked the Moonstone. So let's get into your reading. I pre-drew all the cards for this pile, so that happened. No, let me get into your cards and we'll see what you got. So we said carrot, opportunity or windfall, chain of events that will affect your life, heart, love, deep affection and caring, and quill, get back to the basics. So those are your tea leaf cards. Let's get into your tarot cards. We have the Chariot and 9 of Wands reversed. Then we have King of Swords and the Hermit reversed. 3 of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. Whoa, trippy. The other group got 3 of Swords right in this position as well. And we also have 4 of Pentacles and King of Cups. Interesting. Okay, let's get into your reading. Okay, so we have week 1 here with carrot and these cards, chain and these cards are week 2, heart and these cards are week 3, and quill and these 2 cards are week 4. So let's get into your reading. I'm very excited. You're with the Chariot and 9 of Wands and the carrot card, like you're starting the month off in November, like flying out the gates. Like it's almost like with 9 of Wands, there was this kind of like position that you've kind of were in. You think of the traditional 9 of Wands card, the guy's like standing by these like other 8 wands, and he's holding a wand, I think, and he's like injured and stuff, and he's been there for a while, obviously, because he's like so beaten and broken down that, you know, he's kind of has these bandages on him and stuff. So I'm definitely seeing you kind of like refreshed or rejuvenated with the card being in reverse. And with the Chariot here, it's like a gun-ho, like a motivated attitude. It's with opportunity or windfall with carrot kind of coming into play. It's like this whole position that you were in was removed from your life. And now it's like you're just out the gate. You're just running for the hills. Like, I don't know what this was that you had removed from your life, but by the time November starts, because this is gone and this is kind of something that would have been burdening to you or made you feel kind of physically down or maybe even lethargic or depressed, or even the fact that it was something that was kind of stressing you out over and over again, basically something that you were dealing with for a very long time. Well, the stress of those events is kind of falling away, and it's providing and bringing in all this opportunities or windfall. So you might end up finding like money all over the place. Like, you might be kind of just running around doing your normal day-to-day, especially with the Chariot with his like, this could be a card of like working extra hard. This could be a card, but I definitely see this more so than like other cards that could indicate work. I'm definitely seeing with the Chariot, this indicates kind of like, just like a motivation, like a sense of motivation and kind of like falling into things easily and naturally. I always see the cards, Death, the Moon, the High Priestess and the Chariot is all kind of related to each other. Like they're all different aspects of kind of like the same concept. And as far as like the Chariot is concerned, this is kind of like the natural flow after like, you know, the intuitive step to take to move forward. So this is kind of just like natural flowing movement and energy. With this opportunity or windfall, I'm definitely seeing kind of like a couple things taking place. First, because you left this position, or whatever this thing was that you left behind that was stressing you out and you're kind of feeling relaxed and rejuvenated from it, basically this is kind of like the final moment where you feel really relaxed and rejuvenated and you're just bursting with energy. That's kind of what I'm seeing the most with the Chariot, and it's kind of like this drive and motivation to move forward in your life and to kind of succeed. Opportunity or windfall is the universe kind of creating. With carrot, I think of like how, you know, like with the carrot dangling on a string in front of the animal, and he's running and he's trying to chase the carrot, and you like have the string in front of him. Like if you look at these, like, I don't know what these are. I'm going to just say they're rabbit lions and this carrot, and imagine like dangling a string in front of these rabbit lions and them chasing it. That's kind of what the universe has got you doing right now. The universe is kind of like throwing out little golden things towards you. Like, hey, you going to take this one? You going to take this one? You going to take this one? And you're kind of just like eating it up. Like, okay, yeah, I'll take that opportunity. Okay, I'll take that opportunity. And you're kind of just like following this trail of breadcrumbs, I guess you could say, to reach this kind of like really wonderful thing. And I don't know what that's related to because I'm not getting too many messages if that's love or career or anything. So this could be leaving an old relationship behind. This could be leaving an old job behind. This could be leaving kind of like a stale routine behind and adopting like this whole new and fresh perspective with things. But anyway, the universe is going to be blessing you a lot because of this, because of you leaving this one specific thing that's been weighing you down behind. You're going to be getting a lot of like benefits and you're going to feel a weight basically being lifted off your shoulders. It's interesting, with chain of events that will affect your life, I definitely see in this period with the Hermit reverse right here, that there's an element of this being a very social time for you in week 2. And I definitely see that there is a friend with King of Swords here. This is probably one of your friends that's very logical or analytical, and they kind of have a way of like winning others over to their viewpoint by like using subtle logical arguments. So for example, someone might have an opinion on something and they might use a specific type of little argument with them to like get them over on their side of the story, or kind of like explain things in a certain perspective to get them on their side of the situation. And they're using the truth to do this, but they use the truth in like strategic ways. Like if you think of the swords are all about being blunt and truthful and stuff, but the swords are also about strategy. And so that's kind of what this person's mindset is this is a very strategic type person. And yeah, with chain of events that will affect your life, I see that you hanging out with this person is going to really bring like a synergy with what's going on in week 1 and kind of create this like double amplified energy for week 2. Yeah, this could be, I'm seeing this as basically like a friend that you already have or someone that you already kind of hang out with when you go do social things with them. And if you don't know anyone like this could be someone you're meeting, but I'm definitely seeing someone who kind of like uses little arguments to get the truth out in the situation, to kind of get the truth out in the open by like using a subtle logical argument to get the truth, like the bigger truth being shown. And I definitely see you being very social with this person with the Hermit card in reverse. This is not a time in week 2 for soul searching. I feel like if you attempted to soul search, you would run up against like a lot of walls and like blocks in week 2. So for example, if you try to like start journaling or you're doing a little bit too much introspective work, I definitely seeing you running up against a lot of blocks. Like it's a time to be a little more free, a little more open. Definitely spend a lot of time with this friend. I'm definitely seeing a very activating relationship with this person where you guys both go out and do things and like have a good time. And then with heart, we have love, deep affection, and caring. And this is in week 3. Now, this is interesting because I'm getting 2 messages. With this friend here, this could be a situation where this friend becomes something more and becomes a loving partner. But it's almost like in order for that wall to break open, you have to break through some previous little traumatic points with this friend. Some stuff has happened with this person that made you kind of think that they weren't relationship material. And I see some of you guys getting over that hump in week 3. But for others of you, this is a separate message. For some of you, that's going to be the case. If this is just a friend and you know for sure this is just a friend and it's like never going to happen, then this is going to be a different message. I definitely see someone coming into your life that was a past love interest that is going to become a new future business partner for you. Like someone who's going to work with you on like business ideas or business projects, or be a good like business resource, or be a good like coworker, I guess you could say. This person's going to bring a lot of like money and opportunities, but there's going to have to be a moment where you both kind of like go through what was wrong in the beginning, like why you guys split up, why you guys broke up, and heal over that. Like I said, for some of you, this could be a relationship forming with this King of Swords person. And for others of you, it might not even be like, there might not be love involved at all. It might not be a past breakup or this person turning into love. It might just be that this person, this friend that you have right here, you go into kind of like a business project with them after you uncover some of the things that are getting in the way between you both, as far as like either, I know that I want to say the word trauma for 3 of Swords, but it's not so much trauma as it's like just little hurts, like little emotional hurts that kind of got to you or you thought would get in the way of different things. Because I'm definitely seeing that once those are cleared, you have this love, deep affection, and caring. There's a really like collaborative, loving relationships coming in for week 3 that you probably wouldn't have expected otherwise. And with Ace of Pentacles, it's kind of like you're starting off the right foot in some kind of business business-minded goal or some kind of, you get this kind of spark or idea for some kind of project. It's a material, really grounded, earthy, physical, financial opportunity. I definitely see with Quill, get back to the basics. This is kind of like going back to kind of like how you operate the most easily in kind of like a stressful environment. I definitely see in week 4, there's a little bit more stressors coming up for you. With the King of Cups in reverse, this can represent kind of like more of a stressful kind of time where there's kind of like emotions and things are kind of chaotic around you. And I definitely seeing with Four of Pentacles, in the traditional tarot, the guy is away from this city. He's holding these pentacles, but the subtext of it is like he's on this ledge and there's the city is behind him. So if you live in a really populated place, spending some time away from crowds in week 4, not in week 2. I'm definitely seeing going back to week 2 just to reiterate that this would be the time to like spend time with this friend and do all that kind of stuff, but and be social and stuff. But with week 4, get back to the basics. This is getting back to like who you are on a more practical level. With Four of Pentacles, this could include saving money, but mainly I'm just saying with the Four of Pentacles and the King of Cups is just withdrawing from the world during this time period when everything's a little chaotic or more chaotic, and kind of like trying not to like engage too much. And also with the Four of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles here, I definitely see you kind of building up an inventory for this new business project or this opportunity that's coming through. There might be even a situation, if this is a love interest coming in week 3, that you guys spend a lot of time inside and together with just you and them on like kind of like cozy nights in or movie nights in, or maybe little like dinner dates where you guys cook each other food and stuff. But it's really kind of like more of an introverted time period here. And I definitely see that it's more of a practical introverted time period where it's more grounded. It's not like this Hermit card where I mentioned soul searching. It's a little more like just kind of like doing like, how do I put this? Like creature comforts, like kind of like just doing what makes you feel comfortable without analyzing it too deeply. It's just basically week 4 is kind of like a timeout. And so get back to the basics is just get back to things that you love doing by yourself. Get back to the things that you love doing like alone. And I definitely see this kind of flowing energy, this ebb and flow where you're kind of like breaking away from something stagnant, bursting with energy in the social sphere, with bringing that friend along with you, kind of healing some traumas and kind of like getting some ideas with money and stuff, and then going within and kind of like being introverted and kind of processing those feelings and kind of like getting away from the storm or the storm that is kind of going on around you. I definitely see you kind of ebbing into the month with like going into the like social situations like right when they're like at their peak or their prime before the kind of chaos hits, and kind of going back within and kind of like avoiding all the disasters. Like I definitely see a very like fortuitous time for you as far as like the timing of events. You're definitely really going to be on your game with timing. And chain of events that will affect your life. I do see this starting with these weeks and these coming into these weeks ahead. I don't want to get too specific because I'm pretty sure that because this is a general reading, it's going to be different for many of you. But the Ace of Pentacles does indicate like a financial opportunity or a business connection. And the Four of Pentacles indicates building up and securing more wealth and money. But it could range from anything, not just like building up money or opportunities, but any kind of opportunity and any kind of introverting with your resources. So this could just be like, you know, maybe you like go to like collect a whole bunch of movies for the week, or like mark all these things that you want to watch on TV or something, and then you watch them all in week 4. Yeah, you're just bursting with energy at the beginning of the month. I definitely see this kind of like burst, breaking free, rejuvenation, healing, an opportunity or windfall. The universe is just gonna be throwing things to you left and right, and kind of like you're gonna get to go on this adventure with one of your closest friends, which I think is, I don't know why I'm seeing this as a close friend for most of you, but it's kind of like coming to me really easily that this is like a close friend or someone that you're kind of like really close with. Yeah, for a very rare few of you, this is someone that you haven't met yet. For most of you, this is going to be someone that you are meeting. And with the King of Swords here, I'm definitely seeing this element of just the way I mentioned that they presented arguments with kind of subtly using different arguments to their advantage to reveal the truth of a situation. I'm definitely seeing that this is not has to do with like this being a man or a woman. I know it's a King of Swords, but this could be a girl or a boy, and the age doesn't matter either. The only thing I'm getting with the King of Swords is the way they use those arguments to reveal the truth. That's kind of like how you're going to know what friend this is. Very cool. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm seeing the mirroring of the Three of Swords and the King of Swords here, and how this sword's he's holding this sword, and then there's this heart with the sword stuck in it. I definitely see unblocking a lot of love, like helping this, like having this person use some of their arguments to work through some of your past issues or past traumas or past, I don't want to say traumas because it's not striking me as like as heavy as a trauma. It's like little dramas, I'll say that, little dramas that affected you, that kind of hurt your feelings or something like that, that were kind of like little slights that maybe someone gave you at one point, or someone said something that was just like off-putting, but you kind of just rolled with it anyway. These are kind of little things you're going to work through, and it's going to help bring out that money or that potential for money in week 3. Very, very cool. All right, well, that was your reading. If you enjoyed that reading, you can give a like or comment below. If you really like the reading, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. I try to get a month ahead reading out every month. That would make sense, right? Anyway, so I'm going to move on to group 3 with the Amethyst. Hello, group 3. This is the last group, and this is the group that picked this pretty little amethyst cluster with all those little sparkles. All right, so let's get into your reading. This is week 1 with this tea leaf and these cards, week 2 with this tea leaf and these cards, week 3 with this tea leaf and these cards, and week 4 with this tea leaf and this cards. Let's pull over your tea leaf cards first. We have Beryl. You feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. It's very specific to what's lacking. Arrow, you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. And we also have Pig, beware of greed. And we have Cup, you should accept valid criticism. Interesting. Let's get into your tarot cards. We have Knight of Cups and 2 of Cups reversed. We have 3 of Pentacles and 3 of Wands reversed. We have Queen of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles reversed. And we have the Empress and Queen of Wands reversed. Wow, what a cool month ahead. There's some interesting things here. To me, this reads like a parable or a story. Like, I don't know if you ever watch those. This might actually be relevant to some of you. I don't know if you ever watch those videos on YouTube where it's like, you know, ancient guru or ancient monk's proverb, you know, says this, like, will change your life. And it's like this big video and it's like talks about like how this guy like talked to the monk who was meditating, and he went back to the monk who was meditating after he went and saw something else and, you know, cleared his mind or something like that. There's a whole bunch of those videos on YouTube. They're kind of fun. I watch them every once in a while. But anyway, so let's get into the spread. So that's kind of how I'm reading these tea leaf oracle cards a little bit. Like, these are kind of like little spiritual lessons that are going to be reflected throughout the cards. So first of all, with week 1, it says you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Now it's interesting. I can see you in week 1, like, trying to come to terms with this. But this tarot reading is very interesting because this is very much like the questions and then the answers. Like, it's not really like leaving it up to you to figure it out. It's like the tarot cards are very specific on like what it is that they want you to know, basically. And then there's like some warnings and stuff too. So for here, with you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Well, we have the 2 of Cups right here. And so that's basically just indicating a relationship. The thing that if you feel empty inside or that something's missing in your life and you don't know what it is, if you were to dig a little bit deeper, the cards are suggesting that you are missing or feeling that you would like a relationship, that you want love in your life or a friendship or something in a relationship. This could also indicate dissatisfaction with a relationship that's going on in your life currently. Now, there's interestingly enough, there's a person, a Knight of Cups type of person who's coming into your vicinity in week 1 who is going to be very charming and charismatic. And maybe even if it's not to other people, they seem very charming and charismatic to you. And that's really the key point here, is that they seem like a dream come true. The truth is, though, they're not. This person's actually kind of like a distraction. So you're going to get to know them, meet them. You're going to feel the longing for them. You're going to feel connected to them. You're going to feel all these sort of things. And not connected is the wrong word. I think you're going to feel an attraction, but it's not going to be like a connection. I think that's how you're going to know that this person's like a distraction, because they're going to kind of come into your life. And with Knight of Cups, they could have a message or something to say. Maybe they're trying to tell you something specifically, and then after that, they're ready to leave and stuff. But yeah, I definitely see you kind of, because you're kind of missing love in your life, you kind of see this person, and it's almost like filling the void. The song Therapy by Armin van Buuren is coming to mind right now. But this person is not going to fill the void. Like, if you look at this barrel, like, the barrel is empty, right? The barrel is empty, and this person is not going to fill like the inside of this barrel up for you, is what I'm seeing here. But it's interesting, in week 2, you find something else to kind of fill the barrel up. And then the kind of like story, the parallel, where you have the guy questioning life, going to the monk, and then going back and experiencing life, and going back to the monk. Right here, you have the guy who, you went away and you experienced this person, and you're like, this person wasn't love. I didn't find love, and I thought that's what was missing in my life. So you go back to the monk and you're like, well, what is working in my life? And here it says, you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. So this is kind of the part 2 of the story, right? And that's where we get into week 2. There is a situation where you're working on a group project with a whole bunch of people. Now, this could be your actual job. This could be a situation in your life where you're just working creatively with a group of people. But whatever community you're a part of, this is interesting. This is talking about being social in a community, working towards a common goal. The 3 of Cups is kind of just about like, the other card that's not the 3 of Pentacles is about like relaxing and kind of like enjoying your friendships, camaraderie, with no practical goal in mind, or no kind of goal in mind. 3 of Pentacles is very goal focused. It's a very much a card of working together with a group to achieve and come in like how do I put this? It's all about working together to build something bigger than yourself, and it can be very much a community card. I'm definitely seeing a big factor of the community, of you working with a group of people and kind of like coming to terms with, realizing your impact in the community for yourselves and others. With 3 of Wands, reverse, 3 of Wands upright to me is this person who's like expanding their mind, right? They're thinking about possibilities, they're expanding, but they're alone, right? They're alone, or they have this pet cat or something, but they're kind of like alone and lonely and expanding their mind. This is basically saying that during this time in week 2, something that's really working for you, that you really have going on by the time week 2 comes around, is the fact that you work together with these people to come to like a greater understanding of the world around you. With 3 of Wands, this is about an individual kind of like mindset of like expanding and like thinking of things in multiples. Like, that's why it's a 3. It's like an expansion card, but it's like an inward process, With the 3 of Pentacles, this is all about working with other people, and it's all about building on ideas together with other people and building on projects with other people. So this is really about collaboration and I want to even say inventiveness, and kind of like building upon that knowledge and that kind of like working ability to work with the knowledge of others together on a bigger project. And that's something that is working in your life. So it's kind of like when you go to the monk and you're like, well, what's working in my life? If this isn't working, what's working? He kind of takes you back to your life and you realize this part of your life is working. Now, it's interesting. With Beware of Greed, we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Queen of Pentacles upright. There's a lot of like pentacle card energy right here. And with the Queen of Pentacles, where she's holding that pentacle, because it says beware of greed, it just gives me a new inclination. Usually when she's holding the pentacle, the Queen of Pentacles is like a caring figure who's kind of like caring for the resources that she has. She really takes care of them. And with the Pentacles cards, it could be like material things. So sometimes the Queen of Pentacles has like a particular favorite object. So you could be coveting like a specific car, or maybe you have a specific type of like, you're not a kid, but if you were like 5 years old, you'd have a specific toy that you really, really liked, and you would just hang on to that toy all the time, and you'd care for that toy and stuff like that. It takes on a new mindset with Beware of Greed, with the Pig card coming in here. This is just indicating that you might look fondly on certain material possessions that you have, but you might be greedy in the sense that like your attention is so focused on these material possessions that you crowd out everything else. With Ace of Pentacles here, it's interesting. This is about not accepting this kind of opportunity that's offered to you by the universe. And it could be a financial opportunity. But I'm basically seeing this as like kind of like the next parable of the monk, right? Like you're going to the monk, and then the monk kind of says, you go like, what's working in my life? And you were like, well, now what? What else do I need to work on? You know, and he's basically saying like, with the Queen of Pentacles, it's about like you're caring too much for certain objects in your life when you're not letting in new things. So it's all about like letting in the new, like kind of knowing that like, you don't want to be greedy with one specific. This could apply to a person too, for example. I'm going to use a person for example, although I'm seeing with the Pentacles, it's more applying to like objects or money or materials. There's a whole idea of like caring for one individual and then ignoring everyone else to the exclusion of just one individual. And that's one thing that's really important here is you have to let new opportunities come in and experience new opportunities instead of hoarding one opportunity just to yourself. Like if you're hoarding one thing just to yourself and it's, you know, you're kind of being greedy with that one thing and trying to keep it all to you, you're missing out on other things that could be coming into your environment, as well as not letting other people experience that one thing you're holding on to so strongly. Yeah, this is a very much a month of learning different things in your life. Like this is very much like a learning aspects of your life, what's working, what's not working, what, you know, like you have a little bit of the fantasy over here with the Knight of Cups and knowing that not every kind of like knight in shining armor is what it appears to be. Then you have like what's working in your life and the fact that you're such a good teamwork and collaborator. And then over here you have the whole lesson of letting go and accepting newness and letting other people experience things that you experienced and not, you know, not just you holding on to them. And then lastly, we get over here to like your final lesson. You're literally learning a lot in November. Like this is why I mentioned this is the whole thing with the monk. It's kind of like this kind of like series of steps towards like enlightenment I can see for yourself. With Cup, it says you should accept valid criticism. And with the Empress here and the Queen of Wands here, this is where it all kind of clicks into place by the end of the month. With the Empress, first of all, you're going to be feeling yourself. You're going to feel very beautiful and gorgeous and on top of things. With the Empress card is a very strong card about like beauty in the sense of like, it's almost like a sense of feminine beauty, but it's almost like a divine feminine beauty. So it doesn't, if you're a man or a woman, it's kind of like there's a sense of power with the Empress. It's kind of like you're in charge or you have a regal nature, but you lead with kind of like a majesty to you. With you should accept valid criticism, I'm seeing you learning this lesson. We have Queen of Wands here in reverse, and I'm definitely seeing this aspect to the Queen of Wands where I see her right here with this harp and these foxes listening intently to her harp playing, and it's just kind of spinning a musical cacophony of I wouldn't say lies. I would just say she's spinning a musical composition of like fantasy or whatever. It's kind of going back to this Knight of Cups over here with the person and kind of idealizing them. With you should accept valid criticism, I'm definitely seeing that there is this element that like you're really gonna like respect the truth in the last week of November. It's interesting. It's almost like you're learning how certain things that people say that may be critical on one hand, that might seem critical on one hand, and that could be the truth, have a double side to them, have a different edge to them, have a different story to be spun, have a different type of energy that they give off. And it really like, it kind of is catalyzed by all these other weeks, and it kind of fuels this beauty and empowerment and this kind of self-confidence, this kind of like definite like, I don't want to say take charge, but it's definitely like this like subtle magnetism that you're going to possess and by the end of the month where you're kind of like this kind of like sense of like beautifulness, but also a sense of standing in your truthfulness, right? I'm definitely seeing here with the Queen of Wands, these foxes, like people are going to be noticing you and paying attention to you, you know, like it's going to be interesting because even though you're you're almost like speaking the truth, and you're kind of like living in your truth. Even the valid criticism from other people, where it says you should accept it, it's almost like you see their side of it and you see your own side of it, and you see how those two sides merge and coalesce. And so with the Empress here, it just creates this synergy in you, and it's almost like this friction. It creates like a friction that, like, how do I put this? It would be like you're working really hard with the stick trying to make the fire, like build the fire, and like you're kind of like or you're trying to make this fire grow, and then as soon as like a spark hits, then the rest of the fire goes, and it's kind of like everyone's getting warm around this fire, because a little bit of friction causes this beautiful immense amount of heat that keeps everyone warm in kind of like the night. And that's kind of what's going on with you right here with you should accept valid criticism. These little critical remarks, you almost learn how to use them to fuel your own kind of like fire, your own kind of like warmth, your own kind of radiance, and your own kind of beauty. Yeah, it's interesting. This month is a very step-by-step month. I know I broke them down by weeks, but some of these things might not happen by weeks, but they might happen a little more differently than that, like maybe a week or two off or something like that. But I definitely see this kind of progression going through the month of like certain events happening to kind of create this like lasting effect of this beautiful Empress empowered energy by the end of the month. Wow, very, very cool. Yeah, this is very much like a go to the monk and learn your lesson type of type of vibe. Very like almost like a spiritual journey that you're going on, like learning a lot of spiritual lessons, spiritual understandings of things and concepts that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life. So very empowering month indeed. Very cool, very cool, very cool. All right, so if you like that reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like that reading, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, this was the last group, so I'm going to wave goodbye to you guys and see you in the next pick a card. Bye.